So through Springdale High School, I was in the medical academy, which gave us opportunities to learn more in depth about the healthcare field. Since I had finished most of my core classes senior year, I was able to take more online courses through NWAC, so I got a good amount of my prereqs done. So I have my RN. I plan to get my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, and then hopefully Master's in Nursing at some point. Hi, I'm Lauren Fink, and I'm a portrait of a Springdale graduate.
Hi, and welcome to Springdale Today. I'm your host, Mary Jordan. Today we'll be taking some time to get to know head Har-Ber football coach Aaron Danenhauer, who recently rejoined the Springdale family. Coach Danenhauer replaces Brent Eckley, who coached the Wildcats for 2 seasons. Danenhauer comes to the district after serving as Bentonville's offensive coordinator for 12 years. The coach led the Tigers to the last 3 Class 7A state championship games. Coach, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor. It's fun.
We're
Glad
so
to be
thrilled to have you as part of the district and to have you come home.
Yes.
You had some history here before. When did you work for the district last?
So back in 2007, after graduating college, I came here and Chris Wood had me as like a graduate assistant, if you would. I was an assistant coach. I helped with the offensive line and on the offensive side of the ball. I also subbed over at Hellstern Middle School, and I would sub at the high school over here at Har-Ber, and got to know a lot of people already. So it's really kind of like coming home. It feels good to be here.
Well, and I understand, too, that you might have some family that coaches for the district.
Yes, I do have a cousin who is a bowling coach at Springdale High School, and his dad, my great uncle, Uncle Jerry, and Aunt Joe, they've lived in Springdale there for as long as I can remember, and so it is kind of like that. It's kind of neat, to be around them. And I've gotten texts from them and from my granduncle Jerry, and my grandpa, his brother now has passed. And so he would be like, your grandpa would be so proud. And so it's neat. It really is.
That is so neat. And it just really sells home the Springdale family thought. So we're really grateful to have you here.
Yes, ma'am.
Football has been quite a considerable part of your life. What can you share with us about how big of a role that's had for you?
Honestly, it's huge. I think the mentorship of coaches has really made me who I am. Like, even as a high school athlete, sports, it doesn't define you, I don't think, but at the same time, it helps mold you, right? It taught me a lot of life lessons of how to, persevere in life and, get through the hard times, but work with others, build relationships. There's just sports and athletics just really help mold, I think, a lot of things you do in life. It's all about relationships, right? And things like that. And even in coaching, like once I started coaching, you have mentors. I mean, it's molded me. Like Coach Lunny was my first, after Chris Wood too, then I went back to Bentonville, and Coach Lunny is like another father figure to me. He's a great man, a great leader, and taught me a lot. So I got to give him a lot of credit as well.
Did you play in high school and college then?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I graduated high school at Bentonville High School and played there. And then I went on and played at the University of Tulsa and played offensive line.
Are there any memories that stand out from you from playing in high school or college?
Yeah, I would say something I'll never forget. Obviously my senior year of high school in 2001, Bentonville won its ever first state championship, and I got to be a part. I was a senior that year. I got to be a part of that. Going to Memorial Stadium for the first time in the history of Bentonville, and winning, and just you never forget the moment. Like, you're on the field after the game, and there was a picture of me like taking a knee. Everyone guys up there yelling and screaming. And I was just, kind of like the old Vince Lombardi speech that talks about there's nothing better than like being victorious on the field of battle, exhausted. You're just sitting there taking in the moment, and it was an amazing experience. It really was.
You were sharing with me earlier that you have 3 boys at home.
Yes, ma'am.
Do they play ball?
They do. My 5th grade son, he plays quarterback right now. And then my 2 twin boys, they play their first year of flag football this year. They're kindergartners. So, yes.
Twin boys.
Yes, ma'am.
Your house is a lot of fun. I bet. A lot of activity going on.
There's no doubt.
Now, why coach? What led you to decide that you wanted to coach?
I think it goes back to what football and what other coaches did for me. Because of what it did for me, I love the sport. I love the game, and I love what it does to build build good young men. And I feel like that was God's path for me, to come back and coach, not at a college level, but at a high school level where you can help mold young men and really to what it did for me. I just, that's kind of where my heart is.
Do you have any moments as a coach where you thought, gosh, this is the right place. I'm serving in the right area of my life?
Yeah. I think almost every Friday night I get that feeling, like you walk onto a field and you're getting ready to go to battle and you're doing it with a group of men and young men and players, and just that feeling you get and the crowd's going. And I think any good coach, they find their way to be calm, right, in the chaos. And you just know, like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where God intended me to be, and so I would say every Friday night.
Every Friday night. Today I'm chatting with head Har-Ber football coach Aaron Danenhauer as he prepares to lead the Wildcats in the upcoming football season. What kind of leadership philosophy would you say that you bring to the field?
I think the number one thing I would say, if it was a philosophy, is a kind of a 3D coaching model. And the main goal, in my opinion, is to capture kids' hearts. I think if you know a kid's heart, they know that you trust them and they trust you and that you love them. That equivalates into wins and anything else that you want to do. I think the first building block of anything is a relationship piece. It's a capturing kids' heart. I want them to know that they're loved and cared for, because that goes a long ways with anything else you're trying to accomplish.
And then what do you hope they take from this? And you're investing that love, care, and all those qualities in the players. What are you hoping to shape them into?
Good young men. I mean, truthfully, that's the ultimate goal. Like, what, I've been asked, what do you think you want this season to look like? What do you want this? And I mean, the goal is to take it 1 week at a time, one game at a time. But I don't know what wins and losses will look like yet. I mean, my goal is that at the end of this season, those kids know that they're cared for and loved for, and they love being a family. I talk about being a family a lot in a brotherhood, because if they have that mentality, I think it just, again, it takes care of a lot of other pieces, in my opinion.
And then, so what do the next weeks and months look like for the team as you guys are gearing up for the season?
So, like right now, we're doing our off-season workouts. We started our off-season grind. This is actually week 2. And so 4 days a week, we're in there lifting and doing our movement skills, speed, agility, all that good stuff. We're also starting to add in like some competition stuff. So we are going to have a draft where the seniors get to draft the upcoming, the seniors, they get to draft the upcoming juniors and sophomores, and they will get put on these little competition teams. And during that, like on Fridays, we'll do some competition where they go to stations and they're competing on a tug of war. They're doing an agility drill, and they're learning, because again, you just want to teach these kids how to compete and have the mentality that they can do this and they can win. And it makes it fun. I mean, football should be fun. So we're doing that. And then like every other Thursday, I'm building in like what you'd call like an influencer type group, where kind of like leadership stuff, where I start with a small group, and then we try to grow that group as influencers, because everybody has influence, good or bad, right? And then we're also going to do some team building stuff, like small group things through those. Like, we're going to utilize prime time that we have with the kids as some extra time. As that goes to, as we get closer to spring ball, we'll start doing football skill related things after spring break. And also, I think one of the biggest things we're going to do, like we're going to call them Wildcat dinners, where like a coach has a group of young men that are built into those competition teams. They'll maybe it's have them over to their house, right, and hang out with them, or it's go out to eat with them, or whatever that looks like for each coach. But we just learn to build and get to know everyone, and again, continue to build on the family piece of it, that we're a brotherhood and we're a family and we know everyone on our team. And that's kind of what it looks like. And then you get into summer, you got summer camps, like team camps, you got 7-on-7s. And then there's the dead period in June, like the last week of June, first week of July. And then after that, July turns into your big like summer conditioning program, and it's all about you being prepared for the 1st of August as you continue to build on some of those pieces that I've talked about. So that's a little scope of what's going to be happening, hopefully.
A little
scope. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's fun, and that's what makes this football, the sport of football, and other sports special, like what I talked about, how it molded me,
Is there any area that you think the Wildcats have a particularly strong presence as a team?
I do. I think these kids, like, they're good kids and they know how to work. Like, they're not afraid to work. They work their tails off. They listen. They've been really engaging and they want to win. Like they want this bad, which is awesome, right? It's not like you're coming in somewhere that they're like, I don't know, maybe. Like there's a tradition in Springdale that Springdale football is good, and especially at Har-Ber.
And then what areas do you want to work on as a team for this year?
Family, coming together, right? I think that's the biggest piece. Again, if we can come together as a team and be a family, because here's the truth, again, a family, what would you not do for your family, right? You want to win football games and all that, great, but it starts with, the little things, the details of just being bought into being there every day and being on time and loving your brother next to you. Because again, if you trust the guy next to you, you can do a lot.
Well, and you said you're hesitant to make predictions for the season,
Yeah.
but if you could say this is what I want them to do this year, this is what I want them to achieve this year, or what I know they're capable of doing, what would you communicate?
That's a really good question. Kind of maybe tough. I hate like trying to say like we're gonna brag on anything, but I think these kids are capable of winning, every game. We just got to take it one game at a time. I mean, there's the possibilities are there, but I'm going to keep focusing on the one game at a time, one week at a time.
Right. And now we've talked a lot about football. I thought it would be fun to do just some kind of quick fire questions, maybe just a little bit different things to help people get to know you a little bit, things that you don't normally talk about in interviews.
Yes, ma'am.
Or I promise they're all harmless. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
All right. What's the last movie you watched?
Oh, well, we watched Sonic 3 the other night as a family. Yes.
What's your favorite comfort food?
Probably pizza. You can't go wrong with pizza.
Well, no, you can't go wrong with pizza. I would agree with you on that one. And then what 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
Perseverance. Maybe kind. And let's go hardworking.
All right.
Which kind of goes with perseverance, I guess, but
they're hand in
I'd say.
hand. Yeah. And then what's something you're really bad at?
Oh, my grammar is very, very bad. Like, as in, not like I want to use bad words. It's just like that was never my strength. I was a little bit more of a math guy. And so, like, when it comes to verbiage and writing an essay, like, you don't want to read what I have to write, probably. It would be really bad.
I'm staggered at how bad I am with typos for somebody who actually writes for a living. Okay, so where would you go to live out a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, that's different. I guess my house. I mean, just barricade myself in and see what happens.
I've always thought Sam's Club would be a good place too.
That's actually a really good idea. I don't think that great, I guess, when it comes to that.
Do you collect anything?
No, I don't. When I was young, I used to collect football cards. So we have a lot of those at my house, and I'm trying to get my boys into that, to collect those kind of football cards, and not like some of the other cards that are out there, basketball, football, the fun ones. So,
what is a food you'll never eat again, and what's the story behind that?
My wife tries to get me out there a little bit more to try things. I would probably say eggplant. I don't like, we tried to do she was trying to be healthy, and we tried to do she's healthy all the time. And we tried to do the eggplant, like Parmesan stuff, and it did just not cook up right. The texture, I'm a texture guy. I'm old school. I don't, kind of like farm, just corn, potatoes, maybe some salad, green beans, but that's about as far as I go.
Not enough mozzarella and sauce to hide that for you?
No.
What are your favorite NFL and college teams?
Well, I played for the University of Tulsa, so I guess college I would probably have to say them. I always hope they do well. They haven't done great lately. And then NFL, I don't. So I grew up a Broncos fan. My grandpa and one of his brothers, they played for the Denver Broncos. And then so growing up, John Elway was the man, and the Broncos were good. So that was my team. But in my house right now, my wife is from Branson, Missouri, and so they're all Chief fans. And I used to go to Chief games because when we lived in Kansas at one point, that was easy to get to. So I'm kind of a Chiefs fan now a little bit, like because my son, everyone loves Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and so they've grown up that way. So I guess you could say the Chiefs a little bit too.
Chiefs fan by association.
Yeah.
All right, so 2 more. What's the little known fact about you?
Maybe that I used to be really good at math. Actually, when I subbed at Har-Ber, I actually long-term sub for the calculus, like A, B, and BC, or what it's called, Calc 1, Calc 2 now, maybe.
I didn't know that. I wouldn't have guessed math teacher as well. So you're just a very eclectic person with your skill set.
I guess. I'm not teaching anytime soon, though. This would probably be bad now. It's been a while.
All right, so the last question. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
I've had a lot of good advice. I would say, well, I'll go recent. Like, I think coming here and becoming a head coach, I was, they just kept saying, trust your heart and lean on people. Like, and just when people say, what can I do to help you? Don't be afraid to just, ask, let them help you. Don't let your pride get in the way,
There's a lot of strength in asking for help.
Yes, ma'am.
We've talked about a lot of different things, varied things. Is there anything you want to mention that you thought today that you wanted to be sure you shared with the audience and listeners?
I can't think of anything right now. I would just say that I'm just really excited to be here and fired up about this opportunity and glad to be a Wildcat.
We're glad you're here, and we're excited to see what happens this season with you at the helm. Thank you for being here. We sure are grateful.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I'm Mary Jordan, and this is Springdale Today. We hope you'll tune in and join us again next time.
Springdale Today is a production of the Springdale Public Schools Communications Office.
The podcast is hosted by Mary Jordan and is produced and edited by Micah DeLacy.
Be sure to subscribe to Springdale Today for free on your favorite podcast platform.
And don't forget to follow Springdale Today on social media for episode updates
and behind-the-scenes conversations.
Thank you for listening. We hope you join us in the future as we continue to learn about the amazing stories happening in Springdale today.